I'm assuming the title or the thumbnail resonated with you, so that's why you're here. Well, welcome. Let me introduce myself. My name is Anna, and I recently turned 30. And for the first time in my life, I feel lost. But let me give you some context. Growing up, I've always been type A, ambitious, a go-getter, and I always had a plan and a clear idea of where I was headed and what I wanted for myself. Or so I thought. In my early and mid-20s, I was obsessed with being the best version of myself that I could be. I was obsessed with success, whether it was reading the latest self-help book or listening to the trending podcast about productivity and science-backed sleep protocols, working out obsessively, and always being on some type of fad diet to lose weight, or obsessing over making money, hustle culture, and investing. I was that girl. And now looking back, a lot of this intensity in my life and behavior came from fear and my scarcity mindset. I didn't want to be broke. I didn't want to be unhealthy or overweight. I didn't want to be behind or worse off than others. Deep down, I had this intense fear of not being able to have a good future if I didn't do all these things. Fast forward to my mid-20s, I had everything I ever wanted. Or so I thought. I had a nice house, I had a nice car, I had my fitness, I had a good job, I had financial stability. But somewhere in my late 20s, my mind and body started to change, and something didn't seem right anymore. I started waking up every day and questioning my purpose. I started feeling unmotivated and tired all the time. I started having digestion issues. I started getting skin issues like dermatitis and acne. I started to cry all the time for what seemed like no reason at all. And I started to question my happiness. And in fact, I ended up making some huge life changes. I left a long-term relationship, I sold my home, I moved back into the city, I started creating content on social media. It felt like I was flipping my life upside down, but for the better. And a year into that new life, things were looking up. I felt happy again, like I had some type of purpose going on. And eventually, I decided to pursue full-time content creation at the beginning of 2024. Full-time creator life was a grind, especially because of the niche I was playing in. It was a grueling first year, but I learned a lot, and I got to experience so many opportunities. I planned and hosted an event for 350 people in Toronto. I flew to Thailand to film content. I traveled across Canada to make content, and I even launched a beautiful brand and my website. But 8 months into the full-time creator life, my mind and body started to deteriorate, and something didn't seem right again. Remember everything that happened in my late 20s? The same stuff happened again. So now here I am, semi-burnt out, semi-surviving, living day-to-day, but feeling unfulfilled. My negative self-talk and scarcity mindset continue to fill up my mind every day. My nervous system and my gut health are begging for mercy. I'm unsure of what the future holds, unsure of what I want to do with my career, my life, unsure of a lot of things. Some call this being in a rut. Maybe it's depression. Maybe it's anxiety. Maybe it's a bit of both. But it seems like this lull can happen to anyone, and you never really see it coming. But I don't want to continue on like this. I know I'm capable of so much more, and I know this is just a moment in time. I want to get myself back, my energy, my health, my spark, and my passion for life. But how am I going to do that? I'm going to redesign my life, and I'm going to document as much as I can during this process. I'm going to call this video series The Art of Unlearning. I feel like this journey that I'm going on right now is really about unlearning a lot of old habits, old thought patterns that I've picked up along the way that are no longer serving me. I definitely fell into the trap of optimize every single aspect of my life, but in the end, it actually did more harm than good. So like any type A person would do, I made a document for redesigning my life. Now, this isn't a goals or resolution document. It is not like your typical 2025, I'm gonna hit these goals. No, it's not that. This is a doc that's gonna guide me to be more intentional about how I want to use my time and energy this year so that I don't burn out again, so that I'm not questioning my life and my purpose, and to kind of give me a new resensed vision for myself and my future. A lot of this plan is going to be unlearning unconscious habits, that's for sure, of things that I used to do that are no longer serving me. Let me pull up the doc and walk you through it because it's just easier to look at it together. So I'm using Notion because it's just a free software and I really like how simple it is and you can customize it and whatnot. I know everyone's promoting Notion right now, but this is not to promote Notion. What I have here is I just made a weekly inputs tracker, and this style of weekly tracking was actually popularized by the 12-week year book. I found this methodology to be really helpful because it focuses on what you're doing every week to show up rather than focusing on the one big lofty goal that you're working towards. And I've broken it down to 4 key pillars that I've identified are really important for me to focus on this year. It took me many months to actually come up with these pillars and categories. And it actually took me going on a solo Eat, Pray, Love trip to really be able to come up with these areas of my life that I felt like were lacking. Because I was solo traveling, I had a lot of time to myself. I was disconnected from social media, disconnected from people, and really the only person that I could talk to was myself. And during that time alone, I really got to figure out what was bringing me joy in life, what was making me happy, what did I want to do in my life, what do I not want to do. And I was able to come up with these 4 areas that I really wanted to hone in and focus on this year. Okay, so the 4 different categories are career, creativity, community, and connection to mind and body. In the input column, this is the action or task that I'm doing every week, showing up and doing and actually executing on. The following columns here are just every week I'm going to be tracking whether I did it, it's in progress, or I didn't do it. And then on the very bottom, it just calculates the percentage of achievement overall. Your life isn't just career. Your life isn't just health and fitness. Your life isn't just creativity. Like, it is so many different pillars coming together. And I find that for my own sanity to track my progress, it gives me more encouragement when I'm looking at how am I doing overall in my life, right? Like, there may be some aspects that I didn't do every week. For example, maybe some weeks I didn't put out content, but I still connected with my mind and body. So overall, the percentage of achievement is going to be blended out more or less. So we'll start off with career because that's nice and simple. So currently I feel at a crossroads with my content, and I'm currently in the process of rebranding, pivoting away from the niche that I've been creating content about for the past few years. It makes me very nervous because I know how tough it is to rebuild your audience in a way, but also you're going to lose a lot of your old audience, you're going to get new audience, but there is going to be a period of change. The main reason why I'm pivoting away from my niche is because it's just not really what I'm interested in anymore, and I have a very different relationship with that topic now. I feel like I've outgrown it, and I feel like I just have a lot more to talk about than just one specific topic, and that's kind of why I also want to redesign the content that I'm doing. The career one is very weird for me, and I think probably definitely the most challenging category that I'm gonna have to undertake. Prior to going full-time on content, I was actually in the corporate world for a decade. My background is in strategy, marketing, operations, finance, your typical 9-to-5 stuff. And I excelled in the corporate world. Like, I was that, type A hungry go-getter doing extracurriculars on top of my performance reviews. Deep down, I knew that I wasn't ever fully myself in the corporate environment, and I felt like I wanted to do something more creative. Now, the switch from corporate to creator, honestly, it's been pretty tough. It's almost like a complete mindset change. Like, the way that you work in corporate is very different from how you work as a creative. And as a creator, you're really responsible for your own path, your own trajectory, your own success, your own projects, your own income. Everything. So career-wise, I don't know what I really want to do, to be honest. Like, I'm figuring it out, and it makes me nervous because I feel like I should have my shit together by now, by 30. But again, this is negative thinking. This is toxic expectations. These are things that I need to unlearn. I can post content a certain number of times a week. I can post a YouTube video every week. I can show up on the stories. I can write a newsletter. I'm trying to be less controlling about my career and really allow myself this year to explore what is it that I actually want to do. Going over to creativity now. I feel like I lost a lot of my creative spark and my enjoyment in creating. There's several reasons that led to this, but overall, I just want to have fun again with making content, and I want to have fun with creativity outside of content creation. The 2 inputs that I put for myself is I want to engage once a week in a non-work activity that's in person, whether it's going to pottery class, whether it's going to a networking event, just doing something that is creative, that is outside of my space, outside of my home, I think will help kind of stimulate my creativity and allow me to play in different areas and just bring back some joy when it comes to creating. And then the second thing that I want to do is learn on Skillshare. They have a lot of great different creative courses and things like that that you can do at home. I want to be able to plug in at least a couple times a week on Skillshare, see what cool courses are on there, and just learn it. Going over to community. So this is something that I've realized I've been missing, especially since the pandemic and work from home culture has been popularized. I used to be someone that was very, very social. I would thrive off being in person with people and networking and connecting and talking about deep life things with people, and I was super into that. So really what I want to bring back into my life this year is community and connecting with people again. Whether it's networking or meeting up with someone new or going to a new coffee shop and chatting up with someone, I really want to look at how I find new communities that I currently align with. And another big part of community is events. So for the past 2 years, I've been hosting events in Toronto, and last year was my biggest event, which had over 350 people, and it was an absolute crazy experience, but it was really fun. I want to keep doing events because I love bringing people together that are like in real life, like people who actually live in my city that have the same values as me, that, you know, care about wellness, that care about health, that care about learning new things, or just connecting with other like-minded people, doing a fun activity, eating good food. That's what I want to put together. So I put work on my special event here because I want to bring the community together and keep putting out events. Last but not least, connection to mind and body. So this one is interesting because all my life I've been super into health and fitness, but I overdid it. I was extreme. I didn't have balance. I was the type of person who would wake up at 6 a.m. even if my body was tired. I was the type of person who would diet even though I was super hungry. I was the type of person that would do CrossFit multiple times a week because I wanted to get really, really strong and lean, even though my body needed more body fat. And on the outside, it looks like I'm really healthy, but I actually have a pretty messed up nervous system, a messed up gut. And this year, I really want to have balance because my body is trying to tell me something. And I'm getting to the age where I'm also thinking about fertility, and having a balanced mind and body is really important when it comes to preparing to have kids, wanting to have kids. For me this year, it's like, just move your body. Like, you do not need to be working out so crazy, powerlifting, burning 500 calories per session, doing zone 2 every day. This year is really just about being mindful with the mind and body, slowing down, and just giving myself some more love so that I can find equilibrium again. Okay, so the weekly inputs that I have here: move your body every day. Not every day has to be a crazy, intense, heavy lifting workout. Could be yin yoga some days, could just be walking my dog. I just wanna make sure I show up and move my body every day. Number 2 here, I have show yourself love. So I am someone that doesn't really speak positive to myself, and that's something I need to change because that impacts your mind and body as well. Sauna, cold plunge, and breath work. This has been a huge one for me. I know everyone's into that whole cold plunge ice bath cult, but honestly, it works. I go weekly now, and this is something that I really look forward to. Breath work has been something that has been very helpful in resetting my nervous system and re-stimulating my vagus nerve. So something that I want to continue to commit to on a weekly basis. Eating mindfully, slowly, and chewing. Yes, I have to put this down because if I don't put this down, I'm gonna forget. Now, just because I have these 4 categories, it doesn't mean I'm neglecting other aspects of my life, like relationships, financial, and things like that. I just feel like those other categories I have more on lockdown, or I'm very content with at the moment. And what I've learned is, honestly, when you want to get something done, you just really got to focus in on a couple goals and couple pillars. And that's why I've really want to just focus on these 4 C's. So that's it. That's the plan for this year, how I'm redesigning my life, unlearning a lot of the shit that I've adopted in the past decade or so of bad unconscious habits and thought patterns. I'm pretty excited for this new trajectory. I feel good about it. I feel like I have a solid game plan and I'm doing things differently for once in my life. But I'll be honest, like, the pillar that makes me really nervous is probably career, because it's just so unknown. I'm someone that loves control and I love knowing where I'm going. That's what this year is all about, is like letting go. Like, let the wind take you. Even just in like the first month of the year, I've adopted the art of letting go and the art of unlearning into my everyday life. And I've already noticed that I've gotten a lot of new opportunities and new connections and new energies into my life. I also have a lot of self-doubt in my creator and content creation abilities. My editing game isn't as strong. My YouTube game isn't as strong. I haven't gotten enough reps in. And I constantly feel like I'm in comparison mode, especially when I sometimes do scroll on social media, which I need to stop doing. It's something that I've got to get over this year. And it's just about putting in the work, keep on executing, keep putting the reps in. It's not rocket science at the end of the day, but I just need to have confidence in my ability and what I have to offer. Hey, my content doesn't have to look like everyone else's. It can look different and it will still find an audience that resonates with it. So I think that's just like the narrative I gotta keep injecting into my head. Maybe you're also going through something similar and you want to be part of this journey, or you just want to watch my journey and see how it ends up going. Be sure to subscribe because that's how you're going to get all the content. So thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.